What's up, fellas? In today's video, we're going to talk about me. Okay, we're not actually going to talk about me. We're going to talk about some of my predictions for the season, some things that I have talked about that I feel relatively strongly about, and ones that already, a handful of games into the year, I don't feel great about. We're going to be talking about some of those predictions that I already am just kind of nervous about. But quickly, if you're new here, what's up? My name's Tucker. This is a great place for consistent NBA content if that's something that you're looking for. I upload twice a day, every day, all throughout the NBA season. You can go back and look at my channel. I don't remember the last time I didn't upload 2 videos in a day. So if that's something you're looking for, this is a great place to be. You can also leave a like rating on the video as well if you're enjoying the content. It doesn't take very long and it helps me out a ton. It helps get the video out to more people on YouTube, helps the channel grow. You can also check me out at various socials at the bottom of the screen as well. They're in a Linktree link down in the description. If you're looking for any kind of social media to get a hold of me or just to hang out with me outside of these videos, it is down in that description below. With all those things said, let's go and talk about some of these predictions that I'm already nervous about, okay? So first up, I've already made an entire video about this, so I won't spend too long here, but it does need to be mentioned here. I initially did not think that the Indiana Pacers were going to make the postseason this year, and that possibility does still exist. Depending on how they look post Victor Oladipo trade, and obviously we hope everything is well with Caris LeVert and he's healthy and everything is fine with him. But overall with the Pacers, my reasoning coming into the season was this. If you wanted to pick multiple of these up-and-coming teams in the East to make the postseason, the Wizards, the Hawks, whatever the case may be, you had to pick someone other than the Magic to be out of the playoffs, because like the Nets and the Raptors and the Heat and the Celtics and the Bucks and the Sixers, like there's only so many teams that you would, be able to have make the playoffs. You have to cross somebody off, right? So like if you include those teams that I mentioned and the Pacers, that's 7. You can only have, one of the Hawks or the Wizards or whatever the case may be make the playoffs of the 8th seed. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to pick one of these teams that I think is going to fall out. And I was on the right track there because there have been 2 teams to start this season that have not been very good at all in the East that you would have expected to be in that top group, those being the Raptors and the Heat. So I wasn't off, I just picked the wrong team. Indiana has been really, really good to begin this season. We'll see what they look like now without Victor Oladipo and with Caris LeVert in his place, hopefully, as long as he's healthy. But they've got plenty of guards that can, create for them. Sabonis has been fantastic. The Turner-Sabonis thing hasn't been all that awkward. The new coach has been really great. And those were all doubts that I had about the team coming into the year. I thought that there was going to be an issue with just the overall vibe of the team, if I'm honest. Oladipo wanted out. TJ Warren might not be getting as many shots as he wanted to. The Turner-Sabonis thing could continue to be awkward. Those were my concerns, and they've taken away pretty much all those concerns. They're a playoff team. That's my bad. This is the biggest one for me that I'm already thinking I was wrong about. That's on me. Okay, next up now, this is a painful one, man, because I've picked the MVP correctly 2 years in a row now, and I really felt strongly about Luka winning the MVP this year. And so it's not that he can't win it, but one of the things that was going to make it difficult for him to win it in the first place was something that we talked about in the MVP preview video, which is most of the time, the MVP of the league in recent history is a top 2 team in their respective conference. The one outlier to that is the Russell Westbrook MVP, in which the Thunder were like the 5th seed, right? So the Mavs were already going to have to be significantly better from a record standpoint than they'd been in the past in order to be, in position for Luka to win the MVP, and I predicted they would be like the 3rd seed and, they'd make a little bit of wiggle room. He's the up-and-coming guy, great stats, and he would win the MVP. Now, Luka, from a statistical standpoint, has been really good, with the exception of some percentages, whether it be three-point shot making, goodness gracious, or from the free throw line. He hasn't gotten to the line as much as he had in the past, but overall, he's been really good and certainly on an MVP level. But the Mavs' record does not match that. And if they are not towards the top of the West, he's not going to win the MVP. So this one I'm nervous about. I don't feel great about at the moment, and I think it's more likely that potentially we see someone like Anthony Davis win the MVP or LeBron this year because of how dominant the Lakers have been. If they have the best record in the league, it's more than likely going to be one of those 2 guys. It's still very, very early, and the Mavs could still be the 3rd seed, but just strictly based off team record, I don't feel great about it. Another MVP thing to kind of talk about here, I had Jason Tatum penciled in as like, if you want to go super, super dark horse on an MVP candidate, I thought he could potentially be it. He's been not only outshined by Jaylen Brown to begin this season, but also has been unable to play lately as a result of the protocols the NBA has put in place, which is going to make it difficult for him to win the MVP as well. That one I don't feel super bad about because it wasn't like a huge prediction. It was just kind of one of those things I mentioned offhand, but that one does not look great either. We have 2 more here. And this is one that some people might be surprised based off some of my recent videos. I thought the Hawks were going to be a playoff team this year. I thought they were going to make the 8th seed, and I'm not so sure that's the case anymore. I thought that they had made enough improvements to the roster that, made them one of the top 8 teams in the East. And I thought they had enough offense, they would figure out enough things defensively and be fine, but that has not been the case. After a hot start to the season, Trae Young has not been very good. The team as a whole has not been very good. I'm not confident that the pieces all fit super well together. Yes, they've had injury issues, as has every single team in the league. I think if there's ever a year in which injuries and having players not available is not an excuse, it is this year, because basically every team in the league is dealing with things similar to that. And the Hawks just haven't been good enough. And I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but I just don't feel great about them being the 8th seed right now. We'll see what happens within the rest of the year. Maybe there is a trade possible here. But what ended up happening, and I'm rolling around doing a video about this overall, I don't want to put out too much negative Hawks stuff. I don't just want to constantly say negative things about the Hawks. But what likely ended up happening here is the head coach and the GM of the Hawks looked at this offseason. They said, if we don't start getting better this year, we're going to lose our jobs. And so they went out and they spent a ton of money and they got some players that were supposed to help them. And now, not only have they not been very good this year, but also it has hampered their long-term outlook a little bit as well, with the roster that overall is very young, but has some bigger contracts and some bigger issues, not the least of which is the fact that John Collins is apparently unhappy and wants a big new contract. So all negative things there for the Hawks. I don't want to spend too much time on them because I say negative things about them all the time, but I did think that they were going to be a playoff team this year. And as of this moment, I don't feel great about that. Last prediction now. I can't even tell you how many videos about the James Harden situation because it fluctuated constantly, and then all of a sudden we had a resolution to the Harden thing. And whether it be a month ago when we were talking about the Harden situation, or literally during the live stream in which Harden got traded, before he got traded, the entire time I was thinking it's pretty likely it's going to be Philly, maybe Miami, or maybe some random mystery team. And as much as it would have been super cool for Harden to go to Brooklyn and play with KD and Kyrie, I never thought that was a realistic possibility because I just didn't think that they had the assets to make it happen, even if, as they ultimately ended up doing, they included every single first-round pick at their disposal. I just didn't think that that was a realistic outcome for the Nets to end up with James Harden. I was wrong about that one. This one isn't even a I don't feel good about thing. It's just I was wrong. Like, the Nets ended up finding a way to make it happen, and the Rockets ended up choosing those picks over someone like Ben Simmons. And I didn't really anticipate the Oladipo thing. Funnily enough, if you go back and look at that live stream, literally 20 minutes before Harden got traded, we were talking about possible Victor Oladipo trades that could put Oladipo in that Harden trade, which is pretty wild to think about. So at the end of the day, this one is just one that I was completely wrong about because I just didn't think that the Nets had all the assets that they were necessarily going to need to match up with a Harden trade. But that is going to be the end of today's video. I thank you all very much for watching. I like to do stuff like this on occasion just so you guys understand that I'm not under the assumption that I'm going to be right all of the time. And if I am wrong, I will come out and say it. And I have no issue doing so. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said in the beginning, my name is Tucker. If you enjoy this type of content and you're looking for more videos from me, you can check out the boxes on screen. You can also sub, as I mentioned in the beginning, leave a like rating, and also check out the various socials at the bottom of the screen, a link tree down in the description below. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.